Welcome back to the channel, Niner fans. Back to Who's Your Niner again. We secured a linebacker, and I was waiting on this. I was a little concerned, but before we get into it, I need you to like, subscribe, make sure you comment, share, do whatever you need to. But get in those comments, do what you got to do so we can keep the channel going. But let's jump into it. Mr. Kendricks himself, Eric Kendricks, coming from Minnesota Chargers and now to us. We see Brandon Staley's hands all over this, and I love this signing. I really do. Not because it's a huge major splash. We didn't go out and get the best linebacker in the league, but what we did do was get experience, and that's what we needed to do. Why? Dre Greenlaw is a major loss for us, hands down. So we couldn't have a rookie coming in trying to fill that role, or D. Winters or Flanagan Fowles, a special teamer who's, no offense to Flanagan, but he's a special teamer. He's not meant to really hold up the way we want him to. We needed somebody secure, somebody who knew what they were doing coming in. Eric Kendricks fills that role. He really does. If we look at his history, let's get some insights here into Eric Kendricks and how and why we secured this new addition to our team. Eric Kendricks is a previous Pro Bowl player. He's a previous All-Pro player. In fact, he's been on the top 100, I want to say 3 times in his career. He's a little older, but that's okay. He's heading into the back end of his career. That's okay. We needed a smart linebacker who could cover, and that's Eric Kendricks. He's also a decent tackler too. He led Minnesota in tackling in 2022. I want to say is in 2019, he had 18 sacks. That's the player he is. Even last year with the Chargers, he was second in tackling. So he's a really decent player, really smart player. He can cover the field. He will pair well with Fred Warner. He will know his role, seeing as he is on the back end of his career. He's not coming here to lead the entire team, although he's capable. He's capable of leadership. We'll talk about leadership in just a second, why that's so important. But he's definitely capable. Let's give some more insights here into Eric. PFF graded him out at 72 on his PFF grade. Now, if you're not familiar with PFF grading, here's what it does. PFF grading kind of gives the nuances that are missed from stats. So a stat, if it grades Nick Bosa stat-wise, or not grade, but if his stats say that he had 18 and a half sacks last year, right? If that's Nick Bosa's sack total, what PFF will do is look at how those sacks came, how they occurred. So if he had the 18 and a half sacks, but 8 and a half of those sacks were free runs, nobody blocked them, nobody picked them up, it was just a free run, I could have made the sack. PFF will grade that and say, yeah, you had 18 and a half, but you had 8 and a half for free runs. So we're going to take that into account in terms of how great your season was. So it picks up those little nuances that stats do not, and it tells really how good the player is. Did he beat a player? If it's someone in coverage, did they have a ball thrown directly to them? Like if Charvarius Ward has 5 interceptions on the season, was the ball thrown directly at him and he caught it? Or did he have to spin around, catch up with the defensive back, and do an overhead reverse catch with one hand to intercept the ball? See, these are differences in skills, abilities, and talents that PFF, they take all into account. So Fred Warner was at an 89 for his grade with PFF. And then Eric Kendricks was at a 72 is what he was rated out as. So that's not bad. That's not bad at all. PFF also ranked them in tiers. They took linebackers and put them in 7 different tiers last year. Obviously, Fred Warner was in tier 1. Okay, he was at the top of the tier. In the second tier, guess who was there? Dre Greenlaw. The third tier of linebackers, that's where Eric Kendricks resided. So and this is 7 tiers. So he's in tier 3. That's not bad at all. So let's think about that. We're getting a former All Pro, former Pro Bowler, tier 3, former 3-time 100 player on NFL's 100 list. He's a solid signing. He really is, and the experience that we need now, leadership wise. He led Minnesota for all those years. He fit in at the Chargers, but he led Minnesota as a linebacker. He was a leader on that team, so he knows how to lead, which is relevant to us. Why? Simply because Dre Greenlaw's out. We lost Eric Armstead. Eric Armstead was a huge leader for our team. He was a captain. He was the longest tenured player as a 49er, and now he's gone. So we need leadership on the field, especially on the defensive side of the ball right now, and Eric Kendricks will provide that. So I can't wait to see how he fits in, what he's going to do, and how he's going to help us cover well. Everybody's making moves. We had to make moves, and we are. These are some that are a little under the radar. They're not huge splashes. They're not the big names that you might normally see where you would want to splash. But I do like these signings. And they're cap friendly, I would almost say. They're not breaking the bank. So they're almost cap friendly. I like the signings. It's practical. It's a nice approach, yet a little bit exciting at the same time. Good moves by John Lynch. Good moves. I still don't like the Armstead thing too much yet. We'll see how that one plays out. That's neither here nor there. We'll get into that later, see what happens with that. But a lot of these other signings are making sense. Kendricks makes sense for us for what we want to do and how we want to do it, how he'll fit the scheme. He'll provide leadership, fit the locker room. It's nice all the way around. I want to hear what you think, though. What are your comments? Like, subscribe, share, shout out. Let me get your feelings on the matter, because this is how I feel. And remember, what I'm sharing with you exclusive to my thoughts as a Hoosier fan, Indiana fan. That's the name, Hoosier Niner. It's coming from behind enemy lines. But what are you thinking? And remember, what I tell you, it's legit. It's legit. If I tell you a fly can pull a truck, you better hook him up. It's that simple. We'll see you next time on Who's Your Niner.